And a Fox News alert now. President Biden speaking in just about an hour from now, reacting to the Supreme Court decision, deciding against affirmative action, a huge blow. Programs at Harvard and the University of North Carolina effectively putting an end to the consideration of race in college admissions. All conservative justices sided in the majority in that decision. Liberal Justice Sonia Sotomayor, in her dissent, wrote, and I'm quoting, "Despite the court's unjustified exercise of power, the opinion today will serve only to highlight the court's own impotence in the face of an America whose cries for equality resound." Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, Republican candidate for president, joins me now. This is a monumental decision that has reversed a decision that has been in place for 19 years. What is your reaction today?
Well, Julie, I think this is a good day for America, honestly. This is the day where we understand that being judged by the content of our character, not the color of our skin, is what our Constitution wants. We are continuing to work on forming this more perfect union. Today is better than yesterday. This year better than last year. This decade better than last decade. The progress that we're seeing in this nation is palpable. That's good news for every single corridor of this nation, and one that we should celebrate. I thank God Almighty that America continues to work towards that concept of a more perfect union.
How do these universities, such as the University of North Carolina and Harvard in this case, now move on and continue to fulfill their diverse campus as they both want? These prominent schools say that their standards have a, quote, larger societal goal, one endorsed for decades by the courts to promote a robust, intellectually diverse campus for future leaders. Is it safe to say that they're not going to want to continue that mission since they have been on that mission for 19 years? How is this court ruling going to prevent them from continuing down that path?
Well, I think the question is, how do you continue to create a culture where education is the goal for every single part of our community? One of the things that Harvard can do to make that even better is to eliminate any legacy programs where they have preferential treatment for legacy kids, to not allow for the professors, their kids to come to Harvard as well. If they're looking for a way to improve the footprint of Harvard, let's make sure that all admissions are based on academic scores and not just eliminating affirmative action. But let's look at the legacy programs. Let's look at the fact that the professors' kids get to go there as well. The good news for America, though, is that anyone from anywhere at any time can rise above, beyond their circumstances and live out their American dream. Whether that's going to Harvard, if you can't get into my alma mater, Charleston Southern University, maybe that's a better option. I don't know. I'd choose University of South Carolina or Clemson. Our education system is the marvel of the world. Thank God we're Americans, and thank God today we continue to see signs of progress in every aspect of American life.
Yeah, we certainly are. Today is a monumental day. I want to move on to a statement on the decision from former President Obama and the former First Lady. It reads in part, "My heart breaks for any young person out there who's wondering what their future holds and what kinds of chances will be open to them. Today is a reminder that we've got to do the work, not just to enact policies that reflect our values of equity and fairness, but to truly make those values real in all of our schools, workplaces, and neighborhoods." Now, what is that saying to African Americans in this country, coming from a former African American president and our very first African and only African American president? It's basically saying to me, would you concur, that African Americans, if you are going to apply to a college, well, now you are going to have a harder time. That is not a positive message to be sending to the American people, because that's not the case in this landmark decision.
Well, the good news is we're going to have another African-American president. His name will be Tim Scott, and this is January 2025. Here's what I would say to America today, that I am excited about who we are as a nation. I'm excited about the progress that we've seen in the rearview mirror. But what excites me the most about America is that when you look at the windshield of our future, it is bright for all of our kids. Unfortunately, the radical left have been co-opted by the teachers unions. And so making sure that we get back to providing quality education in every single zip code in this nation, K through 12, means that with quality education K through 12, your child can go to the most elite colleges in America. If we fix public education, we will make sure that every generation going forward will have access to opportunities. And oh, by the way, I'm not sure that going to an elite university is the path to prosperity. It is actually going as high as your character, your grit, and your talent will take you. That means whether you go to Harvard, Charleston Southern, or whether you want to be a plumber or a welder, you too can experience your version of the American dream. I'm running for president because I know America can do for anyone what she has done for me. But sending the message that somehow the color of your skin means that you will not be able to achieve your goals from an educational perspective, from an income perspective, or family formation, that is a lie from the pit of hell. We will not be judged solely by the color of our skin. That's what the ruling said today. But that is the story of America. That is the story of American progress. And we can all celebrate that today.
And the president is going to be coming out and speaking, and I'm hoping that his words are more encouraging than the former President Obama, by encouraging exactly your sentiment right there, that this is about freedoms, and we have been given these freedoms under our civil rights to be equal, and that should be the admissions process based on merit, not on color. I need to switch gears here for a moment here. President Biden, speaking of, giving himself a big pat on the back in economic speech. Bidenomics, you got to love it. As he goes all in on Bidenomics, a push to bolster his terrible polling on the issue, quite frankly. Watch.
I'm not here to declare victory on the economy. I'm here to say we have a plan that's turning things around incredibly quickly. It's no accident. That's Bidenomics in action. Bidenomics is about building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down. Bidenomics is about the future. Bidenomics is just another way of saying restore the American dream, because it worked before.
Republicans quick to call him out, though. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy tweeting that Biden's policies have been an economic disaster. Another congressman writing, inflation reaches 40-year highs. This is Bidenomics, folks. We are not in a place where you can be really, quite frankly, bragging about this economy. I mean, Democrats love to talk about how wages are up. Let's talk about inflation. Let's talk about interest rates. Let's talk about the fact that young people can't buy new homes and they can't get mortgages because the interest rates are astronomical. That's not a positive economy to be bragging about.
Well, Julie, it's exactly the opposite. What we need to do as an American people, fire Joe Biden and hire Tim Scott. Let me just say, let's talk about Joe Biden's economy. $10,000 is the amount of money the average family has lost since Joe Biden has taken office. Why? Because when inflation hits 16% since he's taken office, that means that the average family today is experiencing a crisis. When your gas price goes up 40% and your food's up 20% and your electricity costs $2,200 more this year than it did last year, it is a crisis. The last thing we need to hear is Joe Biden doing anything other than saying to the American people, I'm sorry, I have no clue how to run this economy, I resign. He's not going to say that. So the American people are going to have to kick him out, put me in, votetimscott.com. Let's get it started.
Senator Tim Scott, good luck and thank you for talking to us. We appreciate it.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.